Hey everyone, thank you for joining this morning's ZBrush live stream. Morning here in LA. Thank you for joining wherever you are in the world. I'm going to take a few seconds and just get myself set up, and then we'll get cracking on some sculpting. Okay. Alright, so depending on where you're tuning in from, I should be able to chat with you guys through Restream. So whether you're on Twitch, ZBrush Live, Facebook, or YouTube, I should be able to see your comments. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and I will answer as soon as I can. Let's play some music. Alright, so let's start with kind of from the top, who I am. My name is Ayman Akhtar. I'm a 3D artist in LA, and for the past 5 years or so, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing. Large-scale sculpture, small-scale stuff, stop-motion animation, toy prototyping. So you can see more of my work at ayman3d.com, and there's a whole print sculpture section you can peruse through. I like to make 3D printed masks. It's kind of a hobby of mine. So that's kind of what we'll be doing today. I'll be making a Joker mask. Not for my dog Kuma. This one will be for me for Halloween. If you go to pixelogic.com, ZBrush Live Presenters, you can see a whole bunch of awesome artists that you can follow. And you can scroll down to my name, you can see my past broadcasts and schedules. So for October, I'm doing this Thursday and next Thursday, 10 to noon. You can see some of my work. The Fungusaurus toys. That's the latest thing that I'm all about. My own IP that I've been developing. And, interesting. Here's a 3D printed dress that I made. Excuse me. And that's actually a good place to start today. I always start with a little bit of show and tell, and then get into today's project. So let me make sure that sound is working. It is down to 1%. And then we'll start. So you might hear double audio for a second. And then we'll start. Okay, so cool. Twitch is you might hear double audio for a second. Okay, that Twitch is good. Let's check ZBrush audio for a second. Okay, that Twitch is good. ZBrush Live is good. All right, sweet. Alright, got a first question already by Tian Tian TV saying, what printer did you use for that mask? Okay, good. Bunch of people on here already. Sweet. So I think Tian is referring to this mask. This is the mask I made for my dog Kuma, the Black Panther mask. I printed this in one go on a Raise 3D N2 Plus. So those are the two printers that I have. I have a Raise 3D N2 Plus and a couple of Formlabs printers. So Raise 3D N2, it's about 12 inch by 12 inch by 24 inches. So it's a big printer. It's actually right here. There you go. Okay. So there's the Raise 3D N2 Plus. So it can print pretty large, and that's why I like it. It's an FDM printer, but it's about the same price as the Formlabs, the 3500 or so, and you can print big things. So that's what I'll be printing the Joker mask stuff on. And then back there you see the two Form 2s that I have, and those are about the same thing, like professional price range, 3500, and now they have a Form 3, yeah. So yeah, those are the printers that I have. The Forms are better for stereolithography and high-res stuff. Let's see. So here's the Form 3 printers. So these are the two printers that I have. I use Form 3s, Form 2 whenever I want to use my high-res SLA, so you don't see any build lines. And then the resin's a bit expensive, so I try to use FDM for everything else. All right, so let's start off the top. So I made this dress, all 3D printed pieces, back in 2014, I want to say. And it is modeled here by Jessica Drew Johnson. Some of you may know her from the ZBrush stream. She's the host, along with Joseph Drust. And what I wanted to show is all the pieces that this was made with. So Some of these pieces, like the jewelry, is designed by Igor Nesevich. That's Alienology, his jewelry line. But I designed these arches, the straps, the breastplates were designed with the help of Jessica, and then these the kind of rib cage streaming with LED lights. All of this was designed to fit Jessica based on a 3D scan of her, so it fits her perfectly. Some of these pieces printed by Shapeways, like the rib cage and the arches, because it was just too big for me to print any home printers. The breastplates were printed on my Form 1. But the breastplates, I've had a hell of a time trying to print a replacement because one of them broke recently as I was moving this to my new place. And I tried printing on my Form 2 twice, and I had my friend Daniel try to print it, and it kept failing. So I was wondering what was causing that print to keep failing. And I tried a bunch of different settings. And ultimately, I asked the Formlabs guys to print it for me on the Form 3. This was a good sample test print because it's a pretty complex print. And so I wanted to show you guys how that turned out. So, might take a second for the lighting to adjust. But this was printed in one go on the Form 3. You can see how it's like a pretty complex piece. There's parts that come out and then go deep into the piece. So it's a piece that can only be done using 3D printing. Like, you couldn't mold and cast a piece like this just because of how complex it is. And it's designed so that I can get the LED lights in through the bottom, loop around these kind of, I don't know, roots, I guess you would call, and then come out the top, where then they would be part of the arch that connects up at the top. So this was printed on the Form 3 in white resin, and it is just way smooth. Like, this is hard for you guys to see, I guess, and I can share a photo that I took. But this is like really high quality. This was printed in 100 microns, and it looks smoother than 25 microns in a Form 2. So I wanted to start with this show and tell because I'm really impressed by the quality of the Form 3. I didn't know if I was going to get one. I was kind of holding out to get a Form 3L, the really large one. But the fact that it was able to print this, where my Form 2 failed a few times, and the fact that it looks so smooth and so clean, it says a lot. Like, it's a pretty impressive thing. The other thing is I wanted to try out removing the supports on these because the Form 3, one of the big claims that they have is that the prints, it's much easier to remove the supports. So we're going to try that right now. We're going to try to rip all these supports off of this piece. And first I've got to take it off the board. So, let's see. Excuse me while I get some tools. Okay. All right, got these tools. I'll show you what they are in a sec. All right, so got an X-Acto knife, classic. I've got safety goggles that, in case the supports fly off, don't go into my eye. I've got a modeling clipper. This is just used pretty standardly to clip these prints. These two come with the Form 2 or Form 3 if you ship. This is kind of like a lever action, I don't know how to describe it, but basically it's a custom tool to take the prints off the build platform. That's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to stick this into here and peel. And you can already see it's coming off bit by bit. Now I don't want the whole breastplate to drop because two things in my hand, so I'm going to put it down and do it here on my table. Alright, so there we go. Separated from the build platform. You can see it's left a mark on the build platform, but that can be wiped off with isopropyl alcohol. And now we're ready to start removing the supports. So with something like this, on a Form 2, it's kind of tough because you can see how many supports there are, and each of those is connected at a point on the model. So what I recommend is to cut the supports here at the bottom and then try to start ripping them off. But since this is a Form 3 print and I really want to see what will happen, I'm just going to start trying to press into this and see if the supports come off. So I'll try to do this a bit closer to camera so you can see what's happening. Just by tapping lightly, these supports are coming off. So it's very easy for them to kind of flake off, and this is good. I've worked with EnvisionTEC printers before, and it was the same kind of thing where the supports really just peeled right off. And so there we go. You can just kind of pop them off, which is huge. If you rip them off too suddenly, you may leave like dents, but I don't see any dents because the support point that was connected to the model was actually pretty small. So I'm going to try to do this on top of my trash can because it creates a bit of a mess, but I'm basically just going to try to rip it all off by hand. And there we go. All the supports off in one fell swoop. And that was hell of impressive. That was fast. Usually you'd have to sit there with your modeling clippers and go like this for, I don't know, maybe like half an hour or more sometimes to get the models off the support. So that's a huge plus for the Form 3. I'm just cleaning up some of the nubs here that are on there. Clean up some of this mess around my desk. So I didn't even need to use the modeling clippers at all. Alright, I'll have to clean up a bit more later. But now that I have the piece kind of on its own, popped off the supports, there's little tiny nubs all along the edge that I'll need to clean off. And I can do that with an X-Acto knife. And the way I do it is I just kind of take the X-Acto knife side and I scrape. So closer up so you can see, this is basically what I do. So not like slicing off, but just like using the end to kind of be abrasive and just quickly clean up these nubs. This is what it looks like. And then after that, you can go at it with some sanding tools. So you can take some sanding tools and then just sand the heck out of it. And there you go. There's your finished piece. So let me show you a photo of what this looked like right fresh off the printer. And there's the picture of it as the finished piece on the model. So if you want like really high quality prints, nothing beats SLA. And the reason I like to recommend Formlabs because they don't pay me to do this. It's basically because they're a good company that's going to be there for when you need support. There's a lot of new 3D printing companies with new printers coming up on the market, and I'm always hesitant because I've been burnt by a few Kickstarters where I backed a new company and I never got the printer even a couple of years later. And if you do get the printer, sometimes it's just you don't get any support with it. And when you're new to 3D printing, it's tough to, you're going to need support. So you're going to need good customer service. All right. Putting the tools away. All right. I'm going to look over to the chat to see if you guys have any questions. Pop that over to my other window. All right, so Frozen Transform is bigger than the Form 3. That's a good point. That's a new printer. Let's take a look at that. There's been a few new big printers on the market, which I'm digging. James Neely at 3D on Twitch is asking, is this already UV cured? Yes, it was. So that was just ready to, well, basically, because it was out in the sun. It was there demoing for the ZBrush Summit. And it's not completely cured, but prints off of the Form 2 and Form 3, they're about 90–95% cured when they come off the printer. So it's good to put this in a UV oven a little bit more if I want. It's pretty clean to the touch and solid, so I'm not worried about it. So the frozen, let's see, shuffle, shuffle. I don't see transform. Here we go. Frozen transform. So this was a Kickstarter printer, but it looks pretty massive. Let's see if we can see some images. There's this one, and then there's been a few other really big ones recently. Grim Reaper is asking if I've read up on the Anycubic Predator. No, but Anycubic is a pretty good brand from what I've heard. All of my friends that have Anycubic printers say that they're reliable. Let's see. Ian Reyes is asking, what are the density and touch point size used for that piece? So what he means by that is the supports that I used. I think it was a pretty low density. I think it was probably like 60 or 70% density. And then the touch point size, it looked to me like it was 0.5 or 0.6. Like it wasn't a lot. All right, navigating, navigating. Here we go. That, now. Let's see. Mesh plate. All right, mailing the photos to myself so I can show you guys. Meanwhile, I can answer more questions. So the build volume for, let's see, Grim Reaper is talking about the Anycubic Predator is 45 centimeters tall. Let's see, for those more familiar with the US system of measuring, which is back-ass words, I admit, 17 inches tall. So that's pretty dope. That's a massive printer. And let's see if I can find a price for the Anycubic. The Photon is the popular one. Predator is the new one. Okay, so Anycubic Predator is an FDM printer, about 415 bucks here. And looks like it's a Delta style printer, meaning that it's got these 3 points that move and articulate all over the place until you get your thing. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I mean, comparatively to the Raise 3D, that's a huge bargain. So I'd say try it first. Raise 3D, I've used it since a couple of years, and I like it a lot, and it's dependable. But I recommend trying what you can in your price range first. All right, dope. All right, so continuing the show and tell. Let's see. There's another thing I wanted to show you guys. So beyond the 3D printed dress. Okay. All right. Put that away. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys is something that I worked on in my last stream. So if I navigate over to the, let's see, did I leave that open or no? Maybe not. All right, so let's go to Pixelogic ZBrush Live. If I navigate over to Presenters and scroll down to My Past Broadcasts and Schedules. So if you tuned in a couple weeks back, I did a episode where I made a 3D printed mask. Let's pop that open. So this was a mask of Hector from Coco. I don't need that much space. And I built this on top of a scan of my own face. And so it was really great because I knew that it would fit another person because I had the scale all down. And I built it in a couple of different pieces. I built it in the top and then the bottom as a jaw separate. And I wanted to show you what kind of came of it, that mask, because after getting into it and sculpting it out, I 3D printed it on my Raise 3D. And now, I think I showed it in the last stream too. Oh, and I went over a little bit of keying, how to key the jaw and make it a separate piece. But we ended up doing it differently. So this mask was for a friend, Sean Lopez, and he wanted the jaw to move. And so I wanted to come up with a way that he could do that. And so I did another version of this jaw that doesn't key into the top part. The top part's the same, but the bottom jaw is separate. And I'll pop that open in ZBrush and I'll show you what I ended up doing for that bottom jaw. And then how it's coming along. always like to do a little bit of follow-up on previous stuff that I've shown in my stream, just so I can show you how it ended up. So we'll start with that as another show and tell, and then get into today's sculpt. While that's opening up, here I've got the breastplate photos that I took earlier. These photos, it might be a bit easier to see than through the webcam. You can see the density of the supports here. The touch point size is the size where the supports connect to the print, and you can see it's pretty small. If you do a really big touch point size, like 1 or something, it's hard to rip it off like I just did, or if you do, there'll be gouges left in your print. So whenever possible, try to have that touch point size pretty low. And these are all things you can do in Preform, which is the print prep software provided by Formlabs. Right. So back in ZBrush, we open up the Hector files. I just have to remember where it all was. So got the scar mask here. I wonder if it's still on my desktop. Yeah, it is. Okay. Been meaning to organize my desktop for a little bit. Don't we all? Pop that open. Pop that there. We'll double the document size, just so it'll be a bit easier for you guys to see. Kill the range. Alright, here we go. So there's the Hector mask. I did some quick poly painting in ZBrush here just to see what it would look like. And make sure that you guys are seeing everything. Shrink my window down a bit. Here's the holes I created in the side for like an elastic band to go through, just so it can be put onto your head. In the center here, there's a lot of nose holes to breathe out of, because this basically is still part of the mask to cover the nose. It's just painted black. And then the bottom jaw keys into place on the upper jaw. However, I did another version like this. Solo that out. And what I did there is I basically appended a lot of spheres, not spheres, donuts like toruses, onto the side and did some clipping, just so we would have some holes that could be stitched through to attach it onto like a mask. So there's a few different options for making a movable jaw. You can stick some sort of skin-safe putty to yourself, or like skin-safe glue, and then attach it to your face. For that, you might have to shave. And Sean has a bit of a beard, and I don't think he wanted to shave. So this was a good solution because he could wear a balaclava and then stitch the lower jaw into the balaclava, and then just wear the top part with the elastic bands. So let's see. He sent me a video this morning of how he made it work. Let's see if I can pull that up. All right. Pop over to Facebook for a sec. Now you guys can see. So here's Sean rocking the Hector mask, the 3D printed finished mask. Getting into it, of course, like you have to. And here's just the lower part of the jaw, which is kind of stitched into the balaclava. I think there's a video here of him. There's before it was fully painted. So you see a bit more of the costume that he's starting to set up for it. And there's a bit close-up of the painting. There we go. But this is the exciting part to me because I'm really glad he did it. He stitched all of it into the balaclava. There's the video. And it's so much more expressive than a static mask, right? Now this works really well for the Hector mask because, you know, you don't want to see the rest of your face. I think he'll probably end up putting makeup around his eyes too to really kind of sell the skeleton illusion look. Um, and you want to have some expression. You know, it's Halloween. You want to have fun, so you want to be able to, you know, move the piece around. So I'm really glad he did this. However, I wanted to try something different from the Joker mask. Basically, learning from this experience, I wanted to apply some sort of spring-loaded setup for the Joker mouth that I'm going to make today. Because the Joker, he does that too. He smiles and laughs all the time, so you want to be able to laugh maniacally while wearing a Joker mask. So as we sculpt the Joker mask today, you'll see I'll go through a few different options of trying to figure out how to engineer a moving jaw, just as kind of, it'll still be a two-piece print, but it'll be designed to kind of be more keyed into place, because I'm not going to wear a balaclava and stitch it. Like, I admire Sean's passion to go for it. And I'm glad he did, because then you guys get to see the results. All right, dope. So then, let's pop on over to ZBrush. And I'll probably start by just using this scene. So this is the first mask I made, the Scar mask, which, let's see, where's the actual mask? Somewhere here. Okay, I don't have the full mask. I can try to pull it up, but I started this by making a mask of Scar, and that was like my first mask for myself that I 3D printed. And then from there I did the Hector mask. And what I'm going to do now is basically start with the Hector mask, but turn it into a Joker, because I think that'll be the most effective way of doing it quickly. Alright. I'm not going to use the one with all the pieces. We're just going to start with this. Let's save this as, create a new folder, call it Joker. Probably Joker mask, be a bit specific. Joker mask 1. Let's pull up some reference. Grim Reaper is asking, what issue of 3D World is that 3D printed dress in? It's hard for me to tell you, man. It was a while back. So this was back in 2014 or 15. So I'm not sure exactly which issue it was. Tim the Ancient is asking, how did I end up scanning my face for that sculpt? So that was a scan done by 3D-MD scanners. So 3D-MD has these awesome scanners, which, you know, they have all sorts of different scanners. Some high-end ones, some low-end ones. But I think the one that, yeah, here, this is the one that was used to scan me. And it's basically a very simple, like, you know, 2-point scan. I think this probably goes for close to 50K. It's like an expensive setup, but it gives you within a nanosecond like a perfect scan of you, and I think it's designed for dental applications for different types of objects. But I did this at SIGGRAPH and they gave me the model. It was super quick. Which software do you use to scan your face for getting the correct size? Hard time getting the right fit and proportion. You know, that's a challenge. It's like hard to get the exact right size of the scan, even if it's scanned. If they don't give you the right size, you have to scale it up and just guess. I don't really have an answer for that, man. Like with 3D printing, a lot of the times you print it and then you see, okay, I got to make it smaller or bigger. So once you figure out the size, you stick to it, you know. When you paint these, do you use model paints like Vallejo or Citadel, or do you primarily airbrush them? So I use the Model Color or Vallejo paints. They're like acrylic paints that you can see, Vallejo paints. You can get a full set. Game Color, Vallejo, Model Color. All of these are great for painting any 3D prints that you do in FDM. Stephanie Vijo just learned the word balaclava. So balaclava is the mask. That's what a balaclava is. But a baklava is a nice dessert. Two very different things. Both are pretty sweet. Lucia Chisa is asking on YouTube, did I make the Fungusaurus prints myself? So yeah, if you go to my, let's see, fungusaurus.com, you can see kind of a bit more about this project that I've been working on for a few years now. Me and my wife are the co-creators. Fa, that's her name. She's the designer and basically the direction of it all, and I'm the development head. And we're developing our own IP so we can pitch it as an animated series, do toys, games, animation, all of it. So here's the first 8 characters, all of them sculpted in ZBrush and 3D printed on my Form 2 at the time. And the prototypes were painted by Elvin Rodriguez, and we kind of take the toys around wherever we go to take photos of them. What we've been working on recently is the game. So if I show you the Sketchfab scene, give it a sec to load up. You can play with all this stuff on fungusaurus.com. Make this full screen. Alright, so this is kind of showing the 3D models are all finished, the textures are done, and they're ready to start getting animated. So doing all this development to make augmented reality game where you can kind of play and interact with these characters. And it's been slow going because it's primarily just been me, but recently we got some funding to make it happen, so we've been working pretty hard. We got this office that you see in the background, and hopefully we'll have the game done early next year. So yeah, all of these models were sculpted digitally in ZBrush, then retopologized, combination of ZBrush and Modo and Maya, UV textured, and then now rigged in Maya, and then ready to start animating. So yeah, if you're interested in Fungusaurus, just follow us at Fungusaurus on Instagram, and you can see all of the cool stuff we get up to. Thank you for asking that question. All right. Carlos Pizar saying that's for augmented reality. Yeah, we're using Unity, Grim Reaper, and then got Kyle from Formlabs checking in to say, hey, what's going on, Kyle? Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's Fungusaurus is an augmented reality game that we're developing. So the characters are pretty low poly and going to try to make it work as a mobile game. But I don't necessarily want to go the Pokemon Go location-based route. I want to start with just a more kind of virtual pet interactions and see how players want to play the game. All right. I forgot to answer some of these questions from earlier. Ian Reyes asked on Facebook, have I tried printing anything under 100 microns? Yeah, I've done 100 microns. Most of my prints are 50 microns. And I've done 200 micron prints on the new Formlabs draft resin, as well as on the Rays. And the microns just mean like how detailed you want to get. So for an example, a blood cell is basically 8 microns, I believe, the side to side. So you can get pretty small. And I've done 25 micron prints on a Form 2. And you don't really need to go that small. Unless you're printing really miniature detail that you need to see, you don't need to print on 25 microns. All right, cool. So let's get into this week's Sculpt in ZBrush. I wanted to sculpt the Joker, and I really like the movie. There's a ton of fan art going on of the Joker, like the Joaquin Phoenix style Joker, which is great. I think he totally deserves an award for that performance, and it was very moving, like to see a man basically struggle and deal with abuse and mental health challenges, and you know, throughout the course of a movie, try to figure out who the hell he is. Like it's, I think, pretty much the definitive Joker, which should be canon, like the origin story. But what I wanted to sculpt today isn't necessarily the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. There's been a lot of different Jokers over the years, and my favorite has always been one of the original animated ones. So if you look at the animated Joker, the face is just so iconic and classic. And I wanted to figure out how to make something like this in for a 3D printed mask. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the fully stylized one yet. I might end up wanting to add a lot more wrinkles and make it, more semi-realistic and creepy. But it'll be a combination of this and like a hyper-real Joker mask, whatever that ends up being. So I'll have all this reference pulled up to the side on my other window, and I'll have the Restream chat open as well. So if you guys have any questions, guys and gals, here we go. Mark Hamill's Joker is the best Joker. I'd agree. Okay, cool. So I'll have this open along the side along with my reference. So if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. And I'm going to pump up the music a little bit and get cracking. So the way I had done this was I've gotten the scan of my face and I smoothed the heck out of it, and I sometimes even changed the proportions, like moving the maw forward so there's more breathing room. So rather than just deal with the scan, you can adjust the scan to give you a better base to work off of. I don't think I'll need to worry about that for this Joker mask, so I'll just work with the basic scan and the pieces on top. All right, cool. Start by dynameshing. Lower res if I can. Cool. Same thing with this. This is going to change pretty dramatically as we go. Get rid of the color information. I'll start by just smoothing. Might even go a lot lower with the Dynamesh. And I want to start symmetrically, so I'm going to go to Modify Topology, Mirror, and Weld. That way it'll be symmetrical to start. Do the same thing for the bottom. And smooth the heck out of it. Okay. Not too worried about the teeth or anything like that right now. First step is just blocking in the large forms. It's pretty different from the Hector mask, so I can really adjust it and play with it. I know I want a nose. So that's a really big difference right off the bat. And you need that Joker expression. Let's turn on the other scan where I can actually see a bit more of my face. I'm going to make sure the eyes are right. And I always try to play with it at first, you know, see if I can make it push it further. Start adjusting the bottom part of the mask as well. The Joker's got a pretty pointy chin as well. We'll try to keep those iconic elements. Grim Reaper's asking, what happens to the print if they're not UV cured? So let me pause the music and explain that. So with resin prints, those are the only ones you need to really UV cure. If you don't UV cure a print, it's just kind of, it can still be a bit sticky, and it's not completely, you know, solid. It's like 90-95% there. If you UV cure it too much, however, your print becomes brittle. And so it's a fine line. You want to UV cure it, and you can put it out in the sun to UV cure for a few hours, or you can buy a UV oven to cure it. It's part of the process. You need to do it. Unless the print is hard enough, then you don't need to worry about it. Okay. There's a few different versions of the Joker. One has a pretty solid chin, so I can try that as well, instead of pointy chin. See if we like the solid chin. It's all good right now, we're just playing. And no, I'm definitely going to want a big smile. Big toothy smile. Start adding some detail, so at least we have something to sculpt with. I'm going to start by sculpting with symmetry on, but I'll change that up later once I know what direction I'm going with this. So since I want this Joker mask to be able to move, I've got to make sure that I make it fit on my chin. You know, I kind of like the pointy chin, so I'm going to keep the pointy chin. He looks a bit geriatric right now because he doesn't have teeth, but we can fix that. That's interesting. Not enough resolution there. If I make the nose too long, he may look like a bit more penguinish, though. Still trying to figure out these large shapes and forms before I commit to any detail. Trying to sculpt the illusion of lips. Same thing at the bottom. Not too worried about the teeth just yet. Gotta put that smile on. It's already feeling a lot more like him just by adding that. I was thinking about the silhouette too, how I want this to lay on me. Add a bit more eyebrow. Experimenting here and there. And I'm primarily just using the move brush. Smooth, damp standard, all the basics. Inflate here and there, H-polish here and there. See about making the chin even pointier. I like pointy chins. Thinking about like placement, where if I do actually want it on my chin, where is it actually going to live? This mask will be all teeth. I'm going to try to add some detail, some more maniacal elements, see if they work. Some do, some are overkill. Using the pinch brush here as well. Whoop. I've got it set as a shortcut key to P. And I just recently bought the perfect jacket to go with this costume. Excited to try that. I'm going to up the resolution slightly now when I Dynamesh. Don't want to lose all the detail. But you saw just how quickly I went from that one mask to now a completely different style of mask. I'm sculpting here on a Cintiq 27 HD by Wacom. Picked it up off of a Craigslist sale when a studio here in LA was going out of business. Feel bad for the studio, but stoked I got it at half price. I highly recommend using something pressure sensitive when working in ZBrush. Either a Wacom tablet or a Cintiq or something, you know, where you can actually push into get the results. It's all about getting that feedback. Alright, it's been a while since I saved, so let me go ahead and do that. Check if you all have any questions. Alright, so Kafis is on here on YouTube. How do you set the scale so perfectly? I have no idea, man. Honestly, I build a lot of stuff in Maya and then bring it into ZBrush because then I know what the exact scale is going to be. Yeah. Sorry for delaying in answers, but yeah, I basically, when I sculpt, I'm sculpting, and then I answer, I'll answer. Alright, let's see. Jorge Benitez, why so serious? Yes. Kyle Babbitt, I think, Kyle Babbitt saying, unfortunately, resins are thermoset plastic, which can be remetted like regular thermoplastics. It would be cool if I could do something with the leftover supports. I tend to have to throw them, or I keep them in like a basket to like use for like a craft art project later. Jorge Benitez saying, please, the name of this music. Okay, so the music is from this player. It's called Pretzel, P-R-E-T-Z-L. It's all royalty free, so you can play this for your streaming and whatever else you guys use it for. This track is called Petrichor by Abstraction. If you were looking for the one before this, I'm not really sure at what point you tuned in, but this is all a radio channel. So this is ambient, their ambient station. So you can choose any station you want, and yeah, there we go. Other question, let's see. Damn that. If you had to extrude a body from the head of the model, would you use Dynamesh or just subdivisions? Okay, let me see if I understand what you mean. If you had to extrude the body from the head model, would you use Dynamesh or just subdivisions? So, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. So if I had to turn this head into body, how would I do that? So I'll show you a few different ways that I'd go about it. Alright, let's start with this. So say I wanted to make a body from this. There's many different ways you can do things in ZBrush. Let me lower the volume a bit since I'm talking. Okay. So you can Dynamesh multiple pieces on. That's one approach. Or you could just simply go with something like the snake hook brush and turn on your Sculptris Pro. That's the fastest way, because when you have Sculptris Pro on, you can just kind of extrude pieces, and then you can start making the body. And it'll fill in the geometry on the fly. And that's really the easiest way to go about it. It's really like working with a virtual clay that's kind of unlimited. And the size of your brush determines the density of the topology. So if you make a really small brush, you can make really small changes and it'll update the topology on the fly. So that's one way of doing it. It's a good way, not necessarily the best, but it'll get you the results that you can start building on. You can also inflate, and you can turn on Sculptris Pro for your inflate as well as a bunch of other brushes. So that's one way of adding a body to your mesh from your head, say if you just wanted to pull it right out. Another way, let's start just from like a random place like here, is you can add insert mesh primitives. So you can go to grab something like a sphere and be like, all right, that sphere is going to be my deltoid there. That sphere is the other deltoid. Then you can Dynamesh, and all of that now gets merged together. So you can now inflate between it. I didn't check how far all of that stuff was. And it'll smooth it out. So now you've got the geometry there to start building. These look like more like shoulder boobs than they do deltoids, but quick demo, gets the point across. You can add insert meshes to kind of get the different shapes that you want. So if I go back to that insert sphere, I can change the brush depth, cut that down a bit, do it with symmetry on, and even sculpt these while they're still in place to get the different elements that I want. And then merge them in. And you can see how quickly you can build the volumes that you're looking at. There's the clavicles, get that in there, get the sternocleidomastoid. And obviously I don't really have the back of the body, but I'm just kind of doing this for demo. That's how you can very quickly build it all out. I do like this snake hook brush though approach, because it's just intuitive, it's fast. You're not really worrying, you're just making. So hopefully that answers your question, Damda. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so I'm not going to continue on that. That was fun. But back to the focus on the mask. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Turn off solo. That back on. There we go. All right, so this needs some teeth because Joker is really, it's all teeth. So I need to get on that. Still trying to work on these large-scale proportions. I just noticed that the new season of Gotham is on Netflix. So excited to check that out. I'm going to turn Sculptris Pro mode off now because I don't really need it anymore. Pinching the top of that. Maybe I'll add a little bit more of a dip here at the bottom. Let's see. I often think the best way is to just do it, and then if you don't like it, undo it. All right, turn the music back up. And if y'all have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll get to them ASAP. Trying to decide if I want to have a black outline around the eyes. I think I might just do it, but without actually sculpting it in. Fine to sculpt it in at the bottom, but it looks weird on the sides. Alright, get this nasolabial fold right. This is like a more of a cross between a Joker mask and a one of those masks that you see in Venice, like a masquerade thing. I have big nostrils myself, so I like to flare them up on a mask whenever it's possible. Look in the webcam a bit to look at how my nasolabial fold goes when I smile. It goes right from the nose to the top of the smile. I can't even smile as big as the Joker does though. It's like too big of a smile. Okay, cool. I think I have an idea what's happening. Something like that even. It's hard to convey that much. So I move the nostrils up. But at that point it starts changing into more of a penguin look. And it's digital clay, we're supposed to play. You'll just have it kind of fade away in there. That'll pocket here. See if that helps make the expression a bit more vibrant. Don't know how far we're going to be able to get to it in this one stream, but I'm going to try to finish it off and to have it printed to show you next week. Hopefully y'all are sculpting along with me. Working on any fun projects? This is a project for just a personal project for Halloween. Wondering what are your plans? What are you up to? What are you making? Drop it in the chat. Carl Spizar is texturing an R2-D2 for an animation of a product. That's dope. Oh, you're right. The webcam is massive, isn't it? Ha! Because I was looking at my face. All right. Shonique, thanks for letting me know the webcam was massive. I appreciate you guys telling me that kind of stuff. I was doing it to see like how my face folds to smile, and I forgot about it. Kafis is asking, how's the Form 3? Is it worth the investment? I haven't made the investment yet myself, but just based on the print that I was showing at the beginning of this stream, I really think it is. It's more reliable. It's LFS technology is what they call it, low force stereolithography. And so you can print stuff that even the Form 2 has trouble printing. And the supports come off easier and cleaner. So for those of that just joined, I'm making a Joker mask for Halloween. And I'm stylizing it, I'm making it as I go, trying to figure out what I like. Might push these cheeks a little bit. I push the silhouette of the eyes, or the cut of them. I like that. I like actually when I bring them in. And I think we'll add some asymmetry later. We'll actually make it a bit more menacing. Shonique is working on a skull study. Nice, I like those. I've done quite a few myself. It's good to have like a reference skull on your desk or nearby so that you can build on it. I have one in my display shelf over there. Alright, so it's not going to look like the Joker until I add teeth, so let's add some teeth. Let's get into it. So I'll show you my process for how I go about adding teeth. Do a little bit more pinching here. Get this right. then we'll add teeth. All right, cool. All right, so how do you add teeth? Let me save. And let's make some teeth. So I'll go over to a new model. Say go to a sphere 3D, make that a polymesh 3D so we can sculpt on it. Start by just pulling it up and then maybe flattening out the top. And that's basically a tooth. You can adjust it, you can play with it, but ultimately that's the start of a tooth. Quintonius on here. Nice meeting you at the summit. Nice meeting you as well, mate. Thank you for tuning into my stream. No. Where's my damn center? There we go. Looks like this is being built at weird angles, so I'm going to make sure that it's mirror and welded. Let's do something like that so we know what the top of the tooth is. And you could really get into this. Like you can sculpt, you know, break up in the teeth, up at the top as well. Make it really damaged and dented. And I think that'll be basically a good tooth start for us. I don't need the teeth to be crazy detailed. So what I'm going to do is go over here and then make a new insert mesh brush. Create new insert mesh brush. And I'm looking at it from the front because that's how I'm going to place them. So let's see if this works. Go over to here with my insert mesh brush and place them. Now if you see, if I place them, you know, in the front, the way they draw on isn't ideal. So I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to come here and do the create insert mesh brush while looking at it from the top. And I'll append it on. So it's just kind of added on there. Now we go back to here, and I should be able to add it like this. Now my solo mode is on, so it's hard to see when I add it, so I'll do it again. There we go. And you can change the brush depth to decide how much you want to move this in. So I can go under brush, depth, just push that in a bit. And so now they come and they're a little bit more buried in place. And so very quickly I can just go and lay out all the teeth, and that's what I'm going to do. Not trying to be like perfectly anatomically accurate with this, because all the teeth are then different, pretty their own thing. But I'll sculpt these to change, add some canines and whatnot. Can see from like every angle how much space I have left. Space enough for 2 more teeth, I think. Yeah, perfect. I want this mask to be unnerving more than it is kind of real. Now, one thing you can do is use the Move Topological brush to sculpt each of these teeth kind of individually. And I recommend that. That way you don't need to worry about them kind of intersecting or sculpting them all at the same time. I'm pretty sure I have way too many teeth here, but that's cool. Adding a little bit of asymmetry now, unevenness. Well, let's do the same thing for the top and add the top row of teeth. And I might actually make these teeth a lot bigger, just so I can have a big toothy grin. playing with the silhouette again. Trying some creative pinching to see if it helps or hurts. Quintoni is saying, I entered the emoji challenge and can't believe I actually won. Dude, congrats. That's awesome. I didn't have time to even get around to the emoji challenge. It's like ZBrush Summit has so many people to meet and like old friends I catch up with that don't even get to see most of the presentations. I have to do that actually still. There's a bunch of presentations up now on ZBrush's YouTube that I still have to see. Shonique just shared the skull model that they're working on, asking for critique. Teeth stolen from another model, but it's all good. That's actually a dope model, man. That's a good job there. See, I started adding some of the details. A lot more realistic. That's good. I always try to make these a bit sharper. Same with the zygomatic arch, just so you can see. But yeah, this is looking dope. You should probably start adding some cracks. There's a crack that goes right along here, the bridge of the nose. But yeah, this is looking solid. Yeah, there's usually a little bit more damage here, striation just on the bone. So maybe start thinking about adding some of those. But other than that, yeah, it's looking great. It's just the surface noise is a bit too even. That's what I'd say. If you're looking for a bit more breakup, add that. But that was a great reference because I'm making teeth right now myself. All right, let's go ahead and add the other teeth on the top. Okay, I think I should probably start from the middle again. A bit harder now because it's they're all angled, so I'm gonna try to move them using the gizmo tool a bit as I set them up. Big old toothy Joker grin. Looks like a little bit of a hillbilly Joker until I fix the teeth, but it's important to figure out as I go. Make these adjustments that I want. You know, I might actually add some features from the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker, at least the way the makeup's done. I might add those triangles and stuff. Let's see. Move topological now. Alright, got the canines here. So the bottom ones are kind of cutting in this way. So the top ones can be cutting in next to them. Yeah, see, as soon as I add the teeth, it feels a lot more like the Joker. I think I may have like an extra tooth in there. Yeah, definitely have an extra tooth in there. Let's see, how do I fix this? How do I remedy this? I'll just delete that tooth. Let's see, delete hidden. Now I can move these other ones around. Shonique was saying surface noise, but just so the render doesn't look too smooth. Do it completely, see how far I can get. Dope, dope. Oh, there was a side view there too. Dope. And then, the question is, how did you scan yourself on the camera phone? So I didn't scan myself here. I used a scan that I got from SIGGRAPH a couple years back from the 3D MD scanners. There are a few apps that let you scan yourself on the phone, so you can look into those. But I'm sure the results aren't as professional. Now it starts looking more like a Japanese mask when you extend those teeth out. I think I still have an extra tooth in there. What? Canine top, canine bottom. First set. Oh yeah, definitely. Let's toss that one as well. Not that I actually need to be precise, but can't hurt. The side teeth are just generally a bit flatter and wider. Gotta remember that. Trying to inflate a little bit, see if I can play up that lower lip a bit. It'll allow me to have more expression later. And you'll notice if I Dynamesh now, it Dynameshes everything, which is not what I want. So I'll have to move them on their own layer soon, the teeth. And I don't tend to go up in the geometry level until I need to. So I'll stay at like lower topology. I don't mind the faceting until I really need to. Alright, about time for another save again. Mike Morgan, what's going on, my mate? Z-brushing together, that's what it's all about. Alright, I'm going to save this Joker Mask 1 again. Let's take a look at some reference again for the Joker. So this is the one I've been looking at primarily because I'm interested in getting like that, you know, Bruce Timm look, I guess. I don't know if Bruce Timm was the one that drew the Joker too. But what I need now is a bit more the current Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I'm wondering if I can incorporate some of these kind of elements into it. Maybe the way he does his makeup. Maybe. We'll see. It's more timely. Pull this off to the side. See if I can incorporate some things here. Let's start by doing an insert primitive of a cube up on the top for those triangles there. Dig that in. See, we can clip some parts of it. Cool, cool. Start smoothing that out. And now we can use that to add and see if we like it. I'm a big proponent of when you can add it in the sculpt, add it in the sculpt. Subtool, split, unmask points. Grab those, divide them a bit. Now, make them a bit sharper. Maybe smooth them out near the bottom, we'll see. Kind of have it blend into the mesh later. Let's duplicate those. and move them down to create the top, create the bottoms. I can rotate individually. There we go. I don't even know what I did there. Alright, I'm just going to leave them like that and I'll sculpt them in place. Flip that. Move that up. Move that down. Actually, I'm digging that. It's a fun addition. Who's to say it's got to look a specific way? I can make it my own Joker mask. That's the fun of doing this stuff in 3D printing and ZBrush, is like you're making something custom that didn't exist before you came along. And it's that feeling of having something that you made digitally 3D printed out. That's still pretty special. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and add, duplicate the top ones again. And see about adding that little kind of apostrophe thing that he's got going on for his eyebrows. It's not that big, so we'll keep it short and sweet. We'll inflate the one end, deflate the other end. Wonder why the Joker is such a successful character, why it calls out to so many people. Just represents chaos and anarchy. But I think what Joaquin Phoenix was really successful, and the director, in doing for the new Joker film is just that you understand how it can happen. It's kind of like the previous Jokers were thrown on acid, or like something bad happened to them. But this current Joker is just a victim of society. Mike Morton's asking if I'm using Scale Master in this at all. Nope, not yet at all. This is pretty much just the initial sculpt phase, where I try to not worry about any of the technical details too much. I just dig into the sculpting, and then I'll later export it out and then deal with scale in my 3D print prep software. In this case, Idea Maker. Fur Coat saying, still inching my way through my archived video of the action figure ball and socket boolean. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Oh yeah, since you mentioned it, I should actually bring it up. Let's see. Let me change this to a different material. Nah, something more like visible that we can see everything. It's important to do like this check every once in a while, like trying to throw different matte caps on your prints, on your models, just so you can see everything. Bottom needs a bit more resolution now, so I'll divide that. Yeah, I'll have to give that some love shortly. But yeah, since you mentioned that, let me go ahead and grab, let's see here. So if you go to Gumroad and type in ZBrush keys, see if it comes up. Articulation. Maybe I spelled articulation wrong. Here we go. So if you type in ZBrush articulation, you'll see this keys and articulation brush that I made. And it's available for you guys to try messing with your models for slicing and keying. You can do tapered keys, snap-in pin booleans. There's a ball joint boolean and hinge joint boolean. So you can turn, and then there's this model, this écorché that you get to download. Pretty good price, $10 I think, for you to try and mess around. These are all 3D printed, 3D print friendly articulations. So when you do articulate your models and print them, they should snap in and work properly. So yeah, I'll drop the link in the chat. Let's see, where's Restream? There it is. Gumroad articulation brush. For those of y'all that are curious. I actually need to add the link to the video there where I kind of demonstrate it. All right, cool. Let's keep at this. It's now 11:45, so I've got another 15 minutes or so to go. I can start thinking about what I want, maybe even color-wise. So let's go to something like the skin material, skin shade, and MRGB is on. We'll go color fill object. Let's see, love the Joker reference again. Start with the reds. Go with a bit of a darker red. So I can get a sense of what I'm doing with this. Turn off Z add. This is probably too early to deal with color. I still have a lot more engineering to do. And I'm still not stoked about the sculpt. But it's good to throw some color on there so you know what's coming. Color can make a whole heck of a lot of difference. Use that same red to fill those in. Let's see, it looks like those are a bit darkish blue. Let's see, we can start to try to get rid of the parts of it that I don't need. Delete hidden. Dynamesh. Better. And I'm probably going to end up booleaning my face out of this eventually, so Not too worried about the rest. Let's color the nose red as well. See if we like it. I need some black around the eyes. Some of that old Bruce Timm flavor. Don't know if I want to do the raccoon eyes or play it up somehow. That's like really menacing. It's like a combination of like the old school Joker, the new school Joker, and a bit of if anyone remembers the movie Spawn, it looks like that dude as well. Maybe not play all of it up too much. Still have a bit of figuring out to do. I like the direction it's all headed. Doing some light shading so I can see what I need. Go back to the other Joker. Teeth need to be a bit yellower, so let's do that. Maybe too much. Too little. Maybe just right. Let's see. Oh yeah, starting to get there. The Violator from Spawn. There you go. That's the one. Mike Morgan saying that's a sick IMM brush. Thank you, mate. Hope you enjoy playing with it. Alright, so now Italian was Garden saying, how about changing the face to a minus and turning on the live boolean? So that's a good idea. That's how I actually did the mask here and how I cut the inside out. So you can basically click on that button to make it a cutter and turn on render booleans live boolean. And I think the order matters a lot with this. So we want this to be, I believe, at the top. Start moving all these pieces down because they're all over the place. Organize my subtools a little bit. That piece. There we go. Should be all of them. Alright, so now, where's the Boolean cutter? There it is. Put that at the bottom. and that can be used to cut. And you can see what it's doing. It's cutting out that negative space so we know what parts of our model would intersect with my face. Still lots more to do on this mask. There's a lot more to engineer still. And the sculpt too. There's a lot I can mess with. The square bottom actually makes it feel a lot more powerful, so I think I might keep it square bottomed. I think Joaquin Phoenix has a bit of a square jaw as well. So this is a combination of at least my version of the Joker. See about inflating the lip a bit more. Oh, something's going on. There we go. We didn't add any gums, so maybe we add some gums in there as well, and that's going to help sell it a bit better. Now it's actually even looking like a combination of the Saw mask. The guy from Jigsaw. Yeah, Jigsaw. The guy from Jigsaw. The guy from Saw whose name is Jigsaw. Nothing quite like a creepy clown, is there? Alright, I'm thinking about just the lower jaw and how I want to engineer this. I'm going to start by deleting some of these ends. And let's split off the teeth. And call those teeth, lower jaw. Now we can Dynamesh that. And we can start thinking about the engineering. I don't know if I have really time to do it in the next 5 minutes, but the plan is to have the lower jaw be kind of on a hinge and with a spring in it so that it will force itself shut. So I'll have to figure out how that's going to work. So the easiest way to do it is by making sure that the lower mouth under the chin, like I have a space under my chin that I can move up and down. Let's start there. And the live boolean is taking care of us as we do this. That should be enough of a ledge for my chin to sit on, but I always like to do a bit of overkill. So Furcoat's asking, can my 3D printer print this as a full mask? It can, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that this lower jaw is separate from the upper. So it'll probably print it like this part and then the bottom part separately. So it'll be a two-piece print when I do it. If you join the stream next week on next Thursday, then you'll see the first parts printed, maybe the whole thing printed. Hopefully. Can't guarantee it. There's a lot of Fungusaurus work to be done right now. I'll try to finish this in my time. Quintonius, yes, this is a mask for Halloween. So I'm going to try to get it ready in time, and I've got the perfect jacket for it, and I've already got the green hair going, so, you know, it's kind of fitting. Not sure what I want to do with this jaw. Do I like it pointy? Do I like it a bit more square? I don't know yet. Furcoat's asking which printer I have. Same stuff I was trying to answer in the beginning, but it's a Raise 3D N2 Plus. So I'll just zoom this up. That one right there. That printer is 12-inch by 12-inch by 24-inch build volume. So I should be able to get you know, the mask done in 2 pieces. Yeah. Quintonius saying ahead of the game. 3D printing my own Halloween mask, maybe. I feel like this stuff's going to be common in the future. Once you guys have access to your own desktop printers, you're all going to be doing it. Which is good, it's exciting. I look forward to having a more custom world. Masks like this actually may end up becoming more a regular part of society as facial tracking keeps improving. I think people are going to want to try to fight that somehow. Or you just kind of give up on, you know, any ideas of privacy. Just assume you're being watched at all times. I don't know how I feel about that. I say as I stream live to anyone on the internet. Itai just shared if I'm looking for a ring in Instagram. Let's see what that is. And then Carl's Pizarro saying I already printed an Oni mask. Ooh, good luck getting it finished by Halloween. Curious to see that. Oh, nice. This is like a Joker ring. That's dope. That would be a great thing to add. I don't know if I have time to make a ring. But thank you for sharing. That's a dope looking ring. Yeah, I need to think about what kind of pants and shoes I can rock with this too. Depends. All depends how serious y'all want to get for Halloween. Last year I bought a onesie and just did the scar mask. It was easier. Alright, so it's about 12. Time for me to start signing off for this week. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you enjoyed watching this ZBrush live stream. Let's see. I can end with a bit of the usual spiel. Follow my Fungusaurs if you're interested in the Fungusaurs project. Those are fungusaurs.com and Fungusaurs on Instagram. And you can see more of my work or follow me online at Amonocto3D on Instagram. See if it comes up. Here we go. Amonocto3D. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys around. Next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll be showing this kind of finished Joker mask, as well as whatever I move on to. Maybe something else. I think there's more time before Halloween, so I might make like a snake crest for my friend Marco here. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see, any last second questions going on here? There you go. Nope, not that. Other one. There we go. Thanks for joining all. I need the bang gun, you're right. For those of you that did join late, all of this stuff is saved online, so you can see it later. Under Pixelogic ZBrush Live Presenters, you'll see all of my previous streams, so they're all there. There's a Corgi mask, there's a little My Little Pony stuff, articulated girl, molding, casting videos, more video on my keys and articulation brush, different masks, some Fungusaurs, 3D printed statue prototypes for pitch. So there's all sorts of stuff here. Yeah, feel free to watch anytime you want. All right, see y'all next time, everyone. Laters.